Hi there, everyone. Thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at noon. I'm Brandon T. Jones in for Laura today. We do want to go ahead and start by going outdoors to meteorologist Thomas Patrick. Thomas, it was a wet start to our day, and I think I hear a little bit of wind going through your mic right now.
Yeah, the winds have actually picked up a little bit thanks to a storm system that continues to press through the region. So I do start with the overall weather map. Just analyzed where that cold front currently is. It's a couple paces past Spokane at this point. It is pushing a bulk of that rainfall to the east of where that front lies, but the winds are certainly moving in behind it. So yes, if you hear a little bit of wind that is blustering through on the microphone here, that would be the reason why. Now, the widespread rain is finished here, but a few scattered showers are still looking likely. You see them just kind of cropping up, especially around the mountains nearby Coeur d'Alene. And as you look to the north here, actually quite a bit between a corridor between and nearby Chewelah to Sandpoint, Newport, Priest River, and these regions could see some rainfall nearby. I did just see the sun poke out in between the clouds as well. Not much breaks in the cloud cover overhead at the moment. I do think it stays mostly cloudy, but we are kind of stabilizing. It wasn't ever going to be that flat rain like we had from this morning, so temperatures have been allowed to climb into the 50s as of right now, and we'll probably get into the low 60s for today, just depending on how much sunshine versus how much rain might still pop up. Now, the big warmth is heading our way, a huge warm up to finish off the week here. We'll show you how high those temperatures climb and how many areas are going to be in the 80s before the weekend. That plus the updated Bloomsday forecast is in your weather impact forecast in about 15 minutes.
All righty, Thomas, we'll check back in with you later. Today, we are working to get more information after a deadly crash near Chewelah involving a moose. Washington State Patrol says one person died and another was hurt in the crash on 395 last night. WSP says the driver was heading north on 395 when he hit the moose. A second driver also hit the moose but left the scene. The man who died has not been identified yet. The woman was life-flighted to Sacred Heart Medical Center. The Meade School District has delayed its vote on a proposed transgender student policy. The proposed amendment would have students use their name instead of pronouns. It would also look at locker room access on a case-by-case basis. It would also mean any student on overnight trips would have to sleep in rooms based on their sex at birth. The school board says this would affect many students in the district.
It's an issue. It's not insignificant. I think opponents would be quick to say, oh, there's only a handful. That's not true at all.
There's an increase in bullying and violence against transgender and gender nonconforming kids when they're forced into personal spaces that do not align with their gender identity. There are real-life consequences for stigmatizing and othering these kids.
The board says they need to have more conversations with the community and the state superintendent's office about this topic, so they did not vote on the amendments. Spokane City Council has approved an ordinance to add protections for the LGBTQ+ community. The ordinance means that city-provided health care will cover the rights of employees to access health care services and gender-affirming treatments that are legal in Washington state. Spokane Council also approved an emergency ordinance about stores that sell alcohol. It says they cannot be within 500 feet of schools, parks, and libraries. The council voted unanimously to adopt the ordinance. They said it will help with community safety and public health. This is an interim ordinance, so council will have a public hearing to discuss it on June 16th. Today, President Trump is celebrating his first 100 days in office by highlighting his economic plans. Today, he's headed to Michigan, the home of American auto manufacturing, for a rally with supporters. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
President Trump has promised to re-energize American manufacturing in states like Michigan, but polling also shows Americans are feeling anxious about his tariff policy, and his ratings on the economy and inflation have gone down. President Trump closed his campaign in battleground Michigan and returns tonight to mark 100 days.
After building the greatest economy in the world in his first term as president, President Trump is in the process of doing that all over again.
The trip to the key automotive hub comes as the administration could be easing tariffs on the auto industry. CBS News has learned the president will sign an executive order today easing the 25% tariff for steel and aluminum for automakers, while the separate tariff on imported cars is expected to remain in place.
The goal here is to bring back the high quality industrial jobs to the U.S.
The latest CBS News poll shows President Trump's approval of handling the economy has declined in recent weeks, and more than 60% of those surveyed say he's too focused on tariffs and not enough on lowering prices.
We're the largest producer of truck frame assembly lines in North America.
Joe Perkins, whose company provides technology systems for the automotive industry, says he's hopeful for clarity.
How long can I maintain current cost structure? That is something that keeps me up all night and literally something that I have to think about every single day.
Tariff negotiations are underway with dozens of U.S. trading partners, but Canada's new prime minister issued this warning.
Our old relationship with the United States, a relationship based on steadily increasing integration, is over.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says progress has been made in talks with a number of Asian trading partners. The big three automakers put out statements welcoming the president's move to ease tariffs on the auto industry. Ford saying it will help mitigate impacts to automakers, suppliers, and consumers. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.